Well, you actually interviewed Lakers assistant coach Phil Handy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how Kobe's work ethic was just unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
How he would tell the trainers how to train and the coaches how to coach. I mean, have you seen that personally?
Yes. Yeah, like when I used to come to the gyms when we played the Lakers and I came in early and I'm just watching him go through his routine. I mean, his routines were intense before games.
Huh.
Like he always say, this is the funniest thing about it. Like, he's playing the Wizards, right? And he's talking about, that's not how Rajah Bell's going to guard me. Rajah Bell? Like, he trains for his toughest opponents.
Huh.
So when he's training on what his toughest opponents will do. So his whole regimen of, it's designed on how someone like Rajah Bell's gonna guard him, the Matrix gonna guard him, Bruce Bowen's gonna guard him. You don't care about the rest of the field. The rest of the field, you're irrelevant. Those tough opponents, how they guard me is how I'm gonna train. If Rajah Bell jumps on the second pump fake, I need to work on my third pump fake.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I'm watching it like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, the story was that he went to the NBA fresh out of high school because he wanted to play Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted, people to say, oh, well, you never got to play Jordan, so he's still the best. So he wanted to actually play at the same time, and he got to play him. And we know about the stories about him and Jordan.
Yeah.
The mess that entailed. I mean, do you still agree that, NBA players should be allowed to play straight out of high school? Or do you think that whole 1 year rule is ultimately a better situation for everyone involved?
With anything, no matter if they go to 1 year or they go out of high school, you're going to have great players that come. You're going to have failures that come. It's your job to cipher out who's going to be a pro and who's going to be, a failure. That's your job as general managers and scouts. You know what I mean? So, we have LeBron James, we have Dwight Howards, we have those guys. So, the Kobe's, the Kevin Garnett's, the Tracy McGrady, we have those guys. So you can't say that, it's a failure coming straight out of high school. So, I think they should open it back up to see some of this good. Because some kids are pro ready, not college ready. So they can go into the pros and be instant stars versus going into college and then now it's the zone, it's messing up. I got to sit there for 2-3 years and the game is different. And then there's some guys who are average players in, college and going to be superstars. You got to remember, Zach LaVine was Zach LaVine. He was coming off the bench. He wasn't a star. And look at him. The Peyton Watson kid, he came off the bench. So look, you got you got Peyton Watson who came off the bench. He gets into the draft, right? First year. You had, Jazu Zhang, the star player who would have been a top 5 pick last year if he came out, decided to go back to school, didn't even get drafted.
Yeah, you also run the risk of injury.
Yeah.
Whether you're in college or whether you're playing for overseas. I mean, why do they even make that rule?
They make the rule because older players want to stick into the league a little bit longer.
Really?
Whenever they make rules, it's the players' union.
Oh, it's the players' union.
It's the players' union.
The NBA.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the players.
It's just a way to squeeze out an extra season or two.
Yes.
When you're in your 30s.
Because you got to remember, if I'm 35, 36, and they got 3 new draft picks. Prime example, John Wall, right? John Wall the year before, so not this season, the season before, averaged 20 and 8, 20 and 7? 20 and 7. Come back the next season, the whole team is young, and they were like, I don't need you to win pointless games for us. So just sit. Right? That's what was happening. That these guys who are these veterans that's supposed to be the Haslams, they get pushed out faster. So when they started making these rules up, it's basically, let them go to school one more year, because there was a time where 7, 8 high school kids was coming in. Then you got 8 high school kids plus the 1 years. Like no one cares about the seniors anymore, the juniors anymore. They become irrelevant. And then now more youngers are coming in. That means you got to get rid of some of these old guys. So all deals are done from player unions. Okay. That's like the girls. Girls can't come in. Girls got to go to 4 years. That's because the WNBA girls don't want them to come in faster.
Wait, you got to play 4 years to join the WNBA?
Yes.
Really?
Which is what's ruining the league.
Yo, I never knew that.
So now you got
4 years.
You got to go to college. You got to be removed out of high school 4 years, which is dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
One, because if you understand skill development, you will understand they're wilder, younger, right? It's like a wild animal, right? So if you have them at 18, 19, the thought process, the creativity is it's there. Once you put them into college for 4 years, you put them, it's like jail, right? They become confined with these movements. They're confined with this system. Like, that's what you're doing with your talent. So you're taking all these wild type of, they don't have the Lonzo Balls, the Zions, the Lukas, the Trae Youngs throwing it between the legs. They don't have that. They'd already broke those girls 4 years. You broke them for 4 years before they got to the NBA, so they can just fit right in. When you need those girls to come in out of high school 1 year done, so they still have their creativity. They still have the flashiness before you done already tamed them. So you take away the excitement from the game by doing that.
Yeah, and the girls end up having to go overseas to make money.
Which is their number one job. So technically, overseas is their number one job, and NBA is their second.